And since Center Stage, I have gone on to do, so many countless films and TV shows, and I'm so grateful for every day, but it is a constant up and down. And so this practice of this, the only word I can find is this growth mindset or commitment to self, commitment to learning and to growing, and this release of outcome and end goal. For most of my life, I have to make it happen. Like I have to make it happen and I have to prove myself. And that can create a lot of drive and motivation, but it can also create a ton of anxiety, a ton of stress, and you never feel good enough because you're always reaching for that thing outside of you. And it really hasn't been till this past year when I found such a healthier, happier, more peaceful place for my soul to live in. that question alone of like, what kind of space am I creating for my soul to live in is something I ask myself daily. And it's crazy is that it's the only person that can really know that and create that is you. That's it. Nobody else.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I love what you said is that, well, I have to prove myself in an exterior way versus just standing in your power and like calling it in to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I've been hustling for my worth. Like, what is that? Where does that come from? Right. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what beliefs we get trained with. Cause we didn't grow up with a book my parents didn't have a manual on that kind of stuff,
Yes.
And so I love that your story is just a beautiful example of how to tap into that. To start this whole thing off, I mean, you're the queen of disrupting negative beliefs with movement. And in today's world, starting there, we're not moving. We're sitting all day. We're on our phones. We're in our cars. We're on planes. We're in office cubicles. We're on the couch. We're literally sitting all the time. And it's putting us in this physical prison. What is this doing for our mental and our physical health?
Yeah. I mean, it's literally killing us. There has been so many, I would say an epidemic of mental health and wellness and suicide, like in the past couple of months, even in my own personal life, we've lost 2 people to suicide. And even though they weren't like my best friends, they were friends of my best friends or really close friends. And that really just, so it just makes you be like, okay, something is not okay. Like something is not right. And the way we're living and where we're being is just, especially in this digital world and the concrete jungle, we don't live like we did for ever since the beginning of time. Like it hasn't been that long since technology and smartphones and computers and social media have been around. I think as a collective, as a society, one of the smartest things we could do is be like, okay, we have these new things that are literally changing the way that we live, we operate, we just are. So what as a collective, whether it's having some sort of educational class on, hey, what this can do to you, my dream is that there could be, is to help disrupt the school system in some way, shape, or form, so that, because if we can teach kids, in elementary school and middle school and high school, even if anything, that, hey, like this is what happens when you go to your phone first thing in the morning. This is what happens when you stay sitting at a desk all day long. It's just because I think knowledge is power, and just we don't know what we don't know until we hit this thing of like waking up one day and be like, how am I so depressed? And how am I so unhealthy and unhappy? I'll just go get an energy drink to feel better. And then it just this vicious cycle. And what I love to help people do is just do an awareness check, just to see, just take a day and be like, see how much you're just sitting, like just log the hours of how much you're actually standing up even or sitting down. And it's pretty mind-blowing but it takes that simple practice of like awareness. And what can be so helpful and what I believe in big time is baby steps. I think so many times we overcommit to ourselves, and then we don't keep our promises, and then we don't trust ourselves. And if we don't trust ourselves, how can we ever think we're going to love ourselves? I would be like, okay, I'm going to meditate for an hour every day. And I'm going to read for an hour every day. I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. Whatever it was just these impossible promises. Then I wouldn't keep them. And then I would be like, gosh, I don't feel good about myself. It's because I wasn't keeping my own promises. So I learned to stop doing that and to just say, especially if I'm implementing a new pattern or a new habit, just baby steps. That it's so much better to say, I'm going to meditate for 60 seconds today. And then tomorrow, I'll see if I can do it again, because I can keep that. like I can do a 60-second meditation, and then it'll get in this process of, wow, that felt really good. And then tomorrow it's like, oh, I could do 2 minutes today, and then 3. And then I posted about this today on my social media of something that's really helped me in this journey of self-love and body image and emotional eating is to say, in this situation, how would I treat my own child? If my own child was in this situation, what would I say to her? How would I treat her? And then I just do my best to treat myself with that same sort of love and compassion. And it's been so transformative, because the way I used to treat myself when I would mess up, or if I would eat something that I judged, or, all those things, I would beat myself up, and then I would want to do it. And then it's this vicious cycle. It wasn't until I finally learned that, like, we can only heal with love. And I tried so hard to heal with hate and with bitterness and with judgment, and it just doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't.